Hello everyone. Today I want to do something a little bit different. Instead of being smarmy and ridiculous over some old movie and making silly comments about it, I wanted to do something that I thought was a bit more important. Now more than ever, I think it's pertinent to support black artists, directors, writers, and actors. Because I feel like it's very easy to miss these types of films or skip them entirely. According to the studies done through USC's Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, the top 1,200 films released from 2007 to 2018 and the 1,335 directors behind them, only 80 were black or African American. That is less than 1%, which is frankly unacceptable. As consumers of art, we should always challenge ourselves to seek out and support new perspectives, especially if you're one of those people that says things like, well, Hollywood just does the same stories over and over again. If you say that kind of thing, you should really ask yourself, what am I doing to support new stories and new ideas? Now, there has been some recent mainstream success, both financially and critically. You have Jordan Peele's Get Out, Ava DuVernay's Selma, Malcolm D. Lee's Girls Trip, and arguably two of the greatest superhero films ever made, Enter the Spider-Verse, co-directed by Peter Ramsey, and the phenomenon that was Ryan Coogler's Black Panther. But for this list, I want to focus on 4 smaller independent films that were directed or written by black artists. Kicking off this list is the absolutely hysterical Black Dynamite. It was written and directed by Scott Sanders, and written and starring Byron Minns and Michael Jai White as Black Dynamite. This movie is a parody of blaxploitation films like Shaft or Foxy Brown. But don't worry, you don't have to know that genre to understand how fun Black Dynamite is. Black Dynamite is a cool 70s ex-CIA veteran who wants to take down the man. And with each new discovery, he finds out the conspiracy to keep his people down goes all the way to the top. Black Dynamite does what my favorite comedies do, and that's play everything completely straight. The movie keeps taking these leaps that are just so absurd over and over again, and I love it. One of my favorite scenes in Black Dynamite is when he and his friends try to string together all these vague word associations in order to unravel the mystery. And they start with the word Eminem, quickly go into Roman and Greek mythology, and ends on a penis joke. And this scene never fails to make me laugh. It gets me every single time. There's also a lot of amazing one-liners, like Cedric Yarborough's line.
I am declaring war on anybody who sells drugs in our community.
But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community.
Oh, and if you don't understand what kind of movie this is yet, just know that Cedric Yarborough's character name is Chocolate Giddy-Up. Yeah. Does your script have a character named Chocolate Giddy-Up in it? Oh no? Then your script's not good. But maybe you aren't interested in this type of movie. Perhaps you only like films that have someone kung fu fighting Richard Nixon. Well then, I have good news for you. This movie takes some of the most insane leaps, like I said. It's just fantastic and absolutely worth your time. Anyone who knows me knows that I have not stopped talking about this movie since it came out in 2018. It was not only my favorite film of the year, it is my favorite film of the decade. It is that good. It was directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada, and it was written by and stars Rafael Casal and Daveed Diggs. Yeah, that's right. The Thomas Jefferson. It's the story of 2 friends in Oakland. Colin, a convicted felon trying to stay out of trouble, and his erratic friend Miles, who with nearly every chance he gets, does some dangerous or illegal activity that often has Colin suffer. It brilliantly depicts identity and the prejudices that come with it. Miles, who grew up in Oakland, is seen as some white guy who's trying to act black, which leads him to lash out with destructive behavior. But Colin doesn't get the luxury of living white and reckless, especially when he witnesses a cop gun down an unarmed black man. And this is such a stark reminder that these 2 friends who grew up in the same city actually live in 2 completely separate worlds. And I know this all does sound really dramatic, and it absolutely can be, but there is a boatload of charm and humor in it as well. And that's because our leads and writers were childhood friends. Their chemistry is so organic. I could talk about this movie for hours. I'm not going to because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say I have watched that final scene over and over again, and every single time I tunnel vision because I get so absorbed with it, and that by the time it's over, my chest hurts and I want to cry. It's that good and that powerful, and I actually might watch it right now before I finish this video. This 2018 film is Boots Riley's debut as a writer and a director, and it is incredible. Lakeith Stanfield plays Cassius Green, a telemarketer who discovers he can tap into his white voice, which helps him become one of the top telemarketers. The conflict kicks in when his coworkers, including his girlfriend, want to boycott the business in order to get better work conditions. But Cassius is making money and finally feeling successful. So now we get this really cool theme of what it means to either be a sellout versus someone who's just trying to get ahead in life. And then the movie takes a hard turn, and I mean a hard turn. I will not say what it is, but it is absurd, surreal, and fantastic. It is a beautiful satire on so many things. Class divide, racial divide, slave labor, politics, capitalism, activism, morality in general, and it does all of this while being so hysterical. After I finished this movie, I called so many people telling them that they had to watch it because I needed someone to discuss it with, because it is so wonderfully insane and bizarre and funny, and just I really can't think of another film like it. It's one of the most unique films I've ever seen, and I need you all to watch it right now because I need to talk to you about it. I need to talk to you about every little detail. Please go watch Sorry to Bother You. Before Black Panther fame, Ryan Coogler wrote and directed Fruitvale Station. This is a truly heartbreaking film, and it is the heaviest film on this list, but it's an important one. It is the true story about how a 22-year-old, unarmed African American was shot in the back by a cop. His name was Oscar Grant III. It was New Year's Day, 2009, and he was handcuffed, face down, being held by other officers, and then one of them shot him in the back and killed him. It's a story that is all too familiar, and this movie is a very difficult watch, and it should be, honestly. Coogler doesn't add any extra flair or editing tricks to tug at the heartstrings. He films the shooting scene the way that many people saw it, as it was being filmed by one of the many witnesses. It is nauseating, and again, it absolutely should be. Coogler also does a good job pointing out the abysmal failure that is our justice system. The officer was arrested and tried and let out within a year of prison, but it also shows how slanted and unfair our justice system is towards ex-convicts who struggle every single day trying to become working citizens again. I know this is kind of a downer to end this list on, but maybe that's what we need right now. Not to be coddled or pretend that these are rare occurrences that are just strange outliers, but to stay angry and outraged, especially for those who can't anymore. To end this video, I want to say support Black artists, support Black lives, donate money to organizations like the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Just be good to each other and stay safe.